You know, over the last couple of days, I think we've been hearing a lot about the different aspects of the PlayStation 5 versus the Xbox Series X and even the Xbox Lockhart or Series S. The worst kept secret, I gotta tell you, Microsoft has some of the worst kept secrets in gaming. The Xbox Series S, obviously, Lockhart, and also Fable. That, I mean, those things have been talked about for, years now already. So it's so funny that Microsoft is so kind of tight-lipped about it. But anyway, there's all this kind of misinformation about Lockhart and CPUs and how much more powerful the Xbox Series X is than the PlayStation 5. And now developers are being very clear and concise that it's not exactly as cut and dry as that. And I absolutely love that because we're seeing more and more kind of confirmation. And this is going to be a video about that, developers speaking up. And you're going to like this video, I can promise. Hey there, everybody. What's up? What's going on? I am the Crapgamer. This is Crapgamer Reviews, unscripted, as always, back with another video. If you really want to support me, all you got to do is hit that little like button. If you really want to go all out, consider becoming a member. Or at the very least, just hit the bell so you're notified of everything as soon as it drops. I do daily content. I got something really special coming up over the next couple of days. Yes, reviews are coming back. Yes, I'm going to have some fun stuff. Things are definitely different and kind of changing around here. I was going to do like a total thing, reboot situation at one time, but instead I'm just dropping some changes here and there. Hopefully you're all enjoying it. I appreciate all the new subscribers, all the old subscribers. Hit me up on Twitter at @_Crapgamer. Hit me up on Xbox Live MOH Space Crapgamer or PSN just Crapgamer. I always love chatting with you guys about video games. It's a passion of mine. I enjoy it. Thank you so much for being a part of that. So I wanted to talk about this. Now, a lot of people assume that there's going to be a huge difference between Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. According to this developer, which I will link this article, it's a WCCF Tech article. Developers are saying don't see many differences between the PS5 and Xbox Series X, and the Tempest audio engine is going to free CPU resources for the PlayStation 5. Now, keep in mind, the PlayStation 5 uses the Tempest audio chip, and that's going to be something that's really revolutionary. Again, both of these consoles are going to use different types of audio chips and things like that, and it's going to be very immersive. I just think, again, this is a situation where Sony's not getting enough credit for what they've been able to achieve with that, because the solid state drive is getting all the attention right now, and people act like it's some huge secret sauce or something, and really that's not the case at all. But it is very interesting to see people kind of talk about it, and developers talking about the Xbox Series X as well as the PlayStation 5 and what it means for us as gamers, and the respective architectures between Microsoft and Sony's next-gen flagship consoles. And this is exactly what was said. We don't, when it comes to being able to sort of support with ray tracing and stuff like it, the computing power of the new consoles is very promising, and we're very excited to see ray tracing come to next-gen consoles. It's difficult to say since we don't know the exact ray tracing specifications yet, but early snippets of info do suggest similar performance to an RTX 2070 Super, which will definitely be enough for similar results to what we have now on PC. For now, we don't see too many differences. They seem to be competing well against each other, and both are pushing new boundaries. Each next-gen console supporting solid-state drive will allow us to significantly reduce load times, which is something we're really looking forward to. And this is the developer for Deliver Us the Moon, which they've won a Best Sound Design for an indie game at this award show. They also asked them how they feel about the significant hardware and software audio advancements, and he says, and I quote, "Audio will always play a crucial role in our games, and the next generation of consoles boasts a fantastic audio feature. It looks like Tempest will free up CPU that we used to need for audio, so that leaves room for us to use for other aspects of the game. The HRTF functionality seems particularly interesting too. We're also excited about the project's acoustic wave-based technology. It's all very promising, and we're looking into how it would tie into our existing workflow and technology." So basically, even though technically the Xbox Series X has, that CPU advantage slightly, the audio chip and the audio that the PlayStation 5 is going to utilize actually is going to free up some CPU as well, so they're going to be able to utilize it a little bit better as well. Not better than the Xbox Series X, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying they're going to be able to utilize the CPU better in the PlayStation 5 than they normally would have, given the fact that they're using it, and it's going to reduce some of that load and things like that. I think that's really what they're talking about here, and that's something that a lot of people can sort of kind of talk about as well. They also went on to talk about the variable frequency in the PlayStation 5, about how it's going to be a game changer. Obviously, Microsoft and Sony have their cards on the table when it comes to next-gen consoles. Obviously, Zen 2 CPU clocked, at 3.8 gigahertz. And then you have, one of them clocked at 3.5 gigahertz at a variable frequency, which that is Sony's. So there's not a huge difference there, by the way, because the Zen 2 CPU on the Xbox Series X can run at 3.6 gigahertz, and the CPU is on the PlayStation 5 is 3.5, so in its variable frequency. So obviously this is something that they're going to be kind of working on, and they're going to have to play around with to get the best version and see what works out best for them. But this, obviously, developers talking about this as well, how with the CPU it can run much better, and how obviously with the 3D, and this is also talking about the Tempest engine in conjunction with the DualSense's haptic feedback and the variable triggers. It's meant to aid in one's immersions, and it's a true game changer according to them, and it'll depend on the consumer side for audio. For them personally, it's the reason I want to work with the PS5. It would certainly be interesting, if not downright terrifying, to see how horror games would utilize the technology in the PlayStation 5, calling it a true game changer. And again, how versatile the PlayStation 5 variable frequencies is. A lot of people like to sort of poke fun at the whole variable frequency stuff because Mark Cerny talks about it, and because it's not as powerful as the Xbox Series X. There's no denying that the Xbox Series X has a hardware advantage in power, but there's also no denying that the PlayStation 5 is a very powerful machine, and clearly Mark Cerny and Sony have put a lot of thought into it and know how to kind of utilize it and get the best out of it that they can. And I think that is what developers are starting to really kind of take notice of. If you notice, and I talked about this the other day in a video, why is it that developers are talking pretty much non-stop about the Xbox or about the PlayStation 5, while the Xbox Series X isn't really getting that as much hype or as much talk? The reason is because developers seem to really enjoy what Sony is offering, and I think that's a huge deal. I think that what basically Sony has accomplished is they've created a console that developers absolutely love, because they've created it with developers in mind right from the start, and I think that is a huge turning point going into the next generation. So a lot of people will be touting, like Tom Warren or whoever talked about how the CPU and even the Lockhart is more powerful than the PlayStation 5. True, but with a caveat. That doesn't mean that it's more powerful than the PS5. The PS5 will run circles around the Lockhart. That's just kind of like fanboy nonsense. The PS5 is a very capable machine. In total, 16 to 18% less powerful than the Xbox Series X. But that's less of a difference than the difference between the original Xbox One and the PS4, and much less of a difference than the PS4 Pro versus the Xbox One X. The Xbox One X had a huge advantage over the PS4 Pro, but again, you got to keep in mind that what we keep seeing from developers is they manage to push these consoles to the absolute brink. And as a person who has gamed on Xbox, since the beginning, and bought an Xbox One X right at launch, I now, towards the end of a generation, it's the perfect time to get into the other console a little bit and even buy the multiplats, right? So I bought multiplats on my Xbox One X for the most part because supposedly, everything's going to play better and look better on there, right? But now that you can buy stuff like Star Wars Battlefront 2 for $3 or Titanfall 2 for $2 on the PS4 Pro, I can play the game. I can double down and double dip and play those games on the PS4 Pro. And what I've noticed is very few games actually look significantly different between the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. And I have a 4K TV with HDR, you know what I mean? And I have a 60-inch 4K TV, and there's not this huge gulf in difference. And I think the difference is going to be even less next generation. So that's something that everybody should kind of keep an eye out for and keep an ear out for as well. I do think that we're going to see some fantastic stuff in the future, and both Microsoft and Sony have kind of an eye on the future with their respective consoles. But I do happen to think that maybe the PlayStation 5 isn't getting the love it deserves, and at the end of the day, I just feel like it's one of those things that people should maybe talk a little bit more about. It's not like this cut and dry where the Xbox Series X is going to run circles around the PS4 or the PS5. It's just, that's not happening, folks. And you can't even discount the first party stuff, right? Like, let's be real. Sony's first party is going to run circles around Microsoft's. I mean, Microsoft does have some more talent now, but at the end of the day, I think Sony's first party is definitely bringing the edge and bringing the heat with that first party content, which is something that we continue to see even to this day. But with that being said, I will link all this stuff in the description below. I always source it unless it's an opinion or unless it's something that I hear directly from somebody, and then I let you know. And I'm always sure to tell you, take it with a grain of salt. This, however, developers are loving this. Please stay safe. Thank you so much for spending some time with me on one of my videos. Have a great day. Stay safe, happy, healthy. Rack 'em up and game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.